Hello and welcome to Flory Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got Zoukei's Bf109G-14 in 1/32 scale, and boy have we been waiting for this kit. If you've been following Zoukei for a while now, you'll know that they started off doing highly detailed kits like this one off the bat right the way through. Then they seemed to sort of pull it round a little bit when they started doing their F4s, which weren't as highly detailed, but certainly, you know, bang for buck, they're absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately though, back in the day, Zoukei was very expensive. And when I talk about bang for buck, we're talking about obviously the cost of the kit, how much is in there and stuff like that. And some of the other kits that they released were incredibly expensive. But luckily for us now in the UK, the price has actually sort of come down to a more realistic level. And also other kit manufacturers have actually gone up in price over the last sort of 2-3 years. So actually there's not a lot between it. So now I'd be more than happy just to pay a couple of more quid. And that's basically all we're talking for something like this over its competitors, shall we say, because you know what you're going to get with this. This will be absolutely stunning. So, as you can see, beautiful box art on the front. This little guy down in here, just in case you're wondering if your kit hasn't got it, is because this is the first run of this particular kit. So the first run they tend to do is like a limited series, and it is going to come with the figure as well. So you're going to get a resin figure, I think it is down in here, Hartman. So you've got this little guy down in here as a little bonus for the first ones that come out. Looking around on the box, we've got some of the build-up information, some of the blurb down in here. You can see for this one, it's known as the SWS18 for the kit number for that particular one. And you've got some more of the details. You can see gorgeous cockpit. We've got full engine detail, wheel wells, everything else you'd expect. Plus, we will get a lot more as like. So down in here, into the box, we can see it is crammed. You know, this box is a deep box, as you can see, and it is absolutely loaded. So we've got a couple of sprues for clear parts. We've got the drop tank. We have the fuselage sections. And we've got so much here, I'm going to have to clear some space, I think, to get all this down in here. And then we've got the wings, the engine, and obviously we've got lots of plumbing and internals and things like that. We've got the little charges down there. We've got wing spar system we'll talk about that in a moment. And then obviously we've got the gear. We've got some of the radiators there. And nice to see, actually, it's in one piece. We've actually got the prop. That's down in there. Got some of the other smaller parts down in here for some of the interior details, I do believe. More of the interior. So we've got side walls, consoles, engine mounts, all different things like that down in there. And then obviously we've got some of the, I think that's rudders. And then obviously we've got the various other small parts for wheels and stuff. We are imagining there's going to be other versions coming along. So hence whilst you get different versions down on here as well on sprue N. And then as always you get, which is a delight, these are thick little books here. So down in here, I'll do this nicely. We can see we've got a die cut mast set, which is nice. We've got the decals, which look really nice, beautifully done. Keep those safe. We've got a little catalogue of all the other ones they do. We were talking about the other ones down in here, the Phantoms, things like that. Then over on here, we've got more of the Phantom series, and then all the other ones that they've done as well. Really very nice stuff down in there. And then we've got the all-important book. All right, so if we start over here, here's some of this all out of the way. Pile of it gathering. Okay, so down in here we can see we've obviously got an English and obviously Japanese. We've got details on the engine, obviously on the guns and everything else like that. We've got all the details down in here, obviously about how it's going to go together. If you've never built Japanese kit, so to speak, you know, this will look a little bit odd to you, but if you've done it before, it makes perfect sense. But as you can see down in here, we've got the breakdown. So basically it's saying to you that part one is going to be talking about the engine, part two is going to be the cockpit, and then fuselage, wings going on, final assembly, things like that right the way through. Then also we're talking about painting and decaling down in this one. Again, right the way through, we've got the usual thing. We've got the parts that you're actually going to be using for the engine. So again, full details, and we've got some nice views of it completed as well. So it gives you a reference shot trying to sort of line things up and work out how parts go in there. As you can see, it's all been beautifully laid out for you down in here. So going into it, as you can see, don't be overwhelmed by it. It's the typical sort of Japanese way of doing instructions. They look really complicated until you sort of get your head into it, and suddenly you realize, yeah, I understand it now. I can sort of see where it's coming from. It's throwing you lots of different photos and angles and things in here to explain how it all lines up. So as soon as you get your head around that, you actually find this probably one of the best manuals you'll ever use. All right. So starting off with, and again, details, all the details in the eye of the beholder, I often say with models. This is one of those ones because it's all on the inside and you never see it, but you can see it if you're going to look in from the top. So this actually got the pistons all coming up, so you can see them with the pots and all the rest of it for doing this one. So again, you are going to close it up probably, and you're never going to see it again, but you need to know it's in there. So obviously that's one's talking about putting the engine all together, getting all the parts on. And again, if you get these little areas with little marks on it like this, basically means it's like a sort of click fit as it goes in there and all the rest of it. So that's what that was talking about with. Again, so just be careful, it's sort of delicate as well, you might bend them. It's just giving little call outs for this one. Right the way through, we've got the rocker covers going on, all the bits, but say you've got nice views pointing out all the separate ones from different angles as it goes right the way through. Again, we've got the reduction gear, the various things like that going down in there onto the front. Talking about obviously not gluing it because it's going to be a moving part, and then it talks about colour call outs down in here as well. So anyone with the little pictures of the bottles, you can see it's got those just down in there like that. As you're making your way through the entire build, as you can see, it's going to get more complicated as you're adding all the parts on, and it's giving you the colour call outs as they're going on as well. All right, so it's quite nice like that. So again, you've got the spark plug, all the leads going down in there and being fitted into this one. Again, nice little detailed zoom shots showing exactly how they should line up and how they go in there. All right, so again, it's all very cleverly done how it goes through, and again, it's got little warning asterisks and everything telling you exactly what's going on at the top of them all. As you can see, it is complex. It's going to keep you going for a while just to build the engine, but what I love about these types of kits is it gives you a whole new appreciation of the detail and the amount of work and engine that go into the actual engine. So it's actually more of a mechanical build. So think of it a bit like building a motorbike. You know, you're putting a lot of work always into the engine, and that gives you a real appreciation of that's where the power's coming from. Similar type of setup down in here as well. Again, it's talking about all these parts and parts that need removing and how they're going to fit on right the way through. Really detailed, as you can see down in here. All right, but just don't be put off. I know a lot of people see this and they go, my God, it's not that bad. A lot of them is just pictures showing you exactly where it all goes. So again, down in here, we've got a lot of the plumbing and the hosing going on. You've got top views showing where those go in relation to the actual engine and things like that, which is good. And then you've got color call out. So really all of this half down in here is just telling you you've got it right from this side. Same on the other side as well, right the way through. And again, as you can see, it's talking about putting the oil tanks on, things like that, getting those all fitted, all that plumbing going down in here. And obviously it's talking about if you're going to be having it open or closed with the actual engine down in here. I imagine most of us are going to have the engine open on this to show off all that gorgeous work. All right. So again, fitting all of these parts down in here, and a nice little one as well, you're going to get a little stand for it. So if you do want an engine mount stand and have it out of the aircraft, you could also have it out and have it displayed separately next to it. Again, a beautiful little touch. All right. Then you're moving on to the cockpit. So this is all the parts you're going to need from that one, and we'll go through a bit quicker now. But as you see, built up right the way through. Again, color call-outs as you go, and obviously placements from different angles to show exactly how they're going to fit in right the way through. So you've got a fully detailed cockpit. And again, you've got the ammunition containers down here at the front going through, and obviously the cannon sight sticking out between the legs. All right, so you're all of those down in there as well as that goes together. And again, finishing off what is a beautiful cockpit detail. Different options on the instrument panels down in there, so obviously depending which one you're going to be doing. And again, as you can see with all of these down in here as well. So again, it's talking about the paint out, call outs and all the rest of it in detail right the way through with your decal placements. Exactly the same, finishing it off and getting it all mounted up. Then it's time to actually get the fuselage section together. So obviously it's talking about all the formers that you're going to be putting into the inside of it. Obviously the engine and the cockpit you've already got ready to go in, and a few of the other parts for the gear. And obviously all of those going in there just like that. So if you're thinking this is one of those weekend kits, think again, kids, that you're going to be working on this one for quite a while. All right, but as you can see, it is fully skeletonized right the way through, so you can see it all and display it open and closed, as you might imagine on this one. Some really nice touches down in here, as you can see, right the way through. Very, very accurate, very, very good colour call-outs and all the rest of it. The research is very good on these kits, and you go through. Final assembly, it's obviously talking about the wing sections, the various things. As you can imagine, as you can see down in here, you've got to build the wings from literally the ground up. Again, putting all the wing spars in, things like that, and then obviously right the way through to the top skin. So again, if you wanted to display it technically with it sort of skinless, you could do as well. If you've ever seen them at the shows, they'll know they actually show them like it, which is actually very nice. Right the way through, getting all the wing sections all down in there, putting them all in. Obviously left and right's pretty much Mura, and then it's down to fit the actual wings, just like the real aircraft fits them as well. So you're getting those wing spars all lined up and put in there. And then obviously down in here, it's talking about doing like engine covers and mounts and plates going in there as and when, right the way through. All right, so again, think of this one going together just like the real thing, because it's not that far off. So incredibly detailed all the way through, as you can see. Then it's talking about obviously having them displayed open for all the panels and things like that, which is fair enough right the way through. We're talking about the gear. You've got your alignments down to 61 degrees, 15 degrees off the tail in right the way through. 8.6 degrees on the pitch of the tyres, and again 106 degrees for the actual gear legs. So again, you've got all the details you need right the way through this one. Final assembly, so as imagine you've got your flaps and slats, control surfaces, things like that, props and that being fitted down onto this one now, and again incredibly detailed right the way through. But again, one of the nice things with this, although it's incredibly detailed, it's walking you through step by step. So as long as you keep up with the instructions and don't get ahead of yourself, which I think we're all guilty of, you should be absolutely fine with this particular one. Markings, obviously you got the Hartmann one, incredibly famous, let's face it. I think we've all built one of those at some point. So again, you can do the fully detailed one as well right the way through. So as you can see, we've got this particular one down in here, and then obviously you've got your parts just done like that. So incredibly detailed right off the bat. The decals, obviously they are glorious, no problem at all. Fantastically detailed, as you can imagine, right the way through. Your Hartmann logo. Stencil data, all again, nice, crisp, sharp, hardly any carrier film. There is no carrier film as such. If you look on here in the coloured section, you can see it is right up to the edge. Very, very nice indeed. And then obviously we've got decals as well, if you want to go down that route. Again, they are beautifully done. They're almost like 3D. They're very, very nicely done. So very, very good stuff. Here's that mast set we were talking about, and it is die cut as well. So it's dead handy that you get that straight in the box. So basically, straight off the bat, you've got everything you would ever need down in here. So what we'll do, we'll walk our way through. If we just start down in here. Start in one. So as you can see, very, very nice indeed. Some nice touches. So if we just move into the close-up, you can see the plastic is actually quite matte finish, but it has got really very, very fine details for the actual panel lining and all the sort of hatches and lumps and bumps, as you can see. Typical of Zoukei with their actual parts. Nice, good, tidy sprue gates. I don't think I've ever seen a sink mark or a problem or a mismold or anything on any of their kits. As you can imagine, they are very, very nice indeed. Again, you have got obviously the odd ejector pin down in amongst all of these, but depending on how you're going to be showing them, it's not really a mass problem to get them out. They're not ejector pin less, shall we say, but very nice indeed. Down in here, we've got those tails. So again, really very nice. We've got that sort of surface texture to them all. I think these are the oxygen, is it, bottles? We've got the gear, which has got gorgeous detail in the gear. And again, we've got the reservoir or the oxygen system, I think, down in there just like that. Then we've got some of the biggest sprues now. So again, giving you an idea of just how much detail is in these kits. And boy, it just definitely doesn't disappoint. Very, very nice, and it's good. It's sharp details, and that's what you want. Really nice, sharp, nothing softly molded with these. So again, we've got the side panels down in here, looking absolutely fantastic. All of these bits, and then again, very, very nice details all the way through. Got those engine mounts, looking really nice. Trim wheels, got the gun. There's the big old cannon. Some of the other parts, again, just looks absolutely gorgeous from every angle. one just down in here. It's got more parts. As I say, trying to recognise them off the bat like this is a little bit tricky. But as I see, various things. I think this is gun parts down in here. We've got the ammunition for that gun that's in the cockpit. I think this is the little bit that comes out between the legs for the back of the gun. And again, nicely detailed on the insides as well. Okay. So, just down in here you can see the spinner looks really nice. And again, sometimes they're not a problem. It's nice when the props are moulded in one like that. It just saves alignment issues and things like that. So that's very nice. And again, you have got ejector pins down in here. They're not completely faultless, but actually you could sound them out. Or just get your little drill on there, take them out if you are displaying with it all open. We've got the wheels. We've got the undercarriage legs. There's that gorgeous prop. Looking very much the part. No sink marks on there. Beautifully done. Very, very nicely done. Again, now we're into the wing spar sections. So down in here, as you can see, you've got these wing spars. So you've got to take out the little ejector points right the way through, but the rest of it's incredibly detailed, as you might imagine. So again, some really nice bits down in here. Those gorgeous details with the wings. Again, it's really, it's a choice. Are you going to do it skinless on one side of the fuselage and one wing and show off all that gorgeous detail? I think you'd have to, wouldn't you? Would be a shame to actually just close it all up after you've done all the work down into all of these. So it's got to be a good way of displaying with it open. I think also, if you're going to put all the time and energy into doing a kit like this, then it's well worth to display it somewhat open. Because let's face it, anybody can build a normal 30-second 109, but this is just something a little bit special. So down in here we've got the engine and all the plumbing, as you might imagine, right the way through. We've got the oil reservoir, things like that down in here, but really nice with the details on that engine block. That's those pistons. I know I joke about this, and this is my, one of my little things I do take the mick out of, but clearly it's incredibly detailed. To put the pistons in the pots and all the rest of it, not that you see them, but it's just incredibly detailed to be able to do that. And obviously you've got hollow pistons down in here as well. So yeah, it's not a gimmick, they do go in there. So again, as you can see, really very nice with all the engine parts down in here. Got that oil reservoir. And yeah, absolutely very, very nice. All that plumbing and wiring. And to be honest, there isn't much burring either. We talk about the burrings where it's like sandwiches together. I'm trying to feel for it, and I can't really feel much burring on it at all. The easiest way is to obviously feel the sprue to see how much that's got, because you know it'll be less, and there's not a lot on the sprues either. And this is the one for the plugs, for the wiring up from the plugs. Very nice indeed. So incredibly detailed. Over the top detailed, I'd have to say, but very nice to see it. Okay, so we've got the wing skins down in here. All right, as you can see, really very, very nice. And again, we just pop down in here. Difficult to show in the light, because they're actually very much a matte finish, but you can probably see it's got the riveting, you've got the access panels all on these. We've got a little bit of rippling down in here for the sort of stretch fabric look. So actually they're very nice indeed. Then we've got the wheel ones coming up and all the other bits, and then over to the actual wings themselves for the skins. And then on the inside, you have got ejector pins down in here, just about seeing. They're very faint, but you are going to have to take care of them if you are going to show it skinless, so to speak, and then show these on the underside. So, but I would just, to be honest, put this flat down next to it so it looks like it's just demoing how it would be. But again, the rest of it, incredibly nice. But it is my only thing with Zoukei in full balance. I'm not going to sit here and say they're the best kit ever, because you have got ejector pins down in some of these areas where really they shouldn't be. They're very fine, and you could probably get away with not even worrying about them. But there is a lot of ejector pins. It seems to be that sort of typical Tamiya-esque way of doing these kits, where ejector pins seem to be the price you have to pay for amazing detail. Okay, so fuselage halves. So yeah, huge sprue, as you can see, and then Very, very nice indeed. So you've got all that interior in those as well. So in here we've got all your formers and all your bits and pieces. So there's your fuselage half. Very, very nice. And if we work our way down here, we've got the tails, the stabilizers. And down in here, obviously, you can see we've got all the formers going through. I think these are the leading edge to the wing joins. We've got that belly plate down in here. We've got the rudder. And then obviously on this side, we've got the other one with the access port on the side. So really nice indeed. And then along the bottom here, we've got the tail planes, some more formers. And I think this is the hole around the access panel. If you could have it skinless, you would show that open. So again, very, very nice indeed. And in here, again, we were talking about there's ejector pins all the way through this, and even down in here. You're not going to see it. They've placed them slightly out of the way. We've got one up the front and one to the rear, so hopefully you wouldn't see. But if you are going to do it skinless, you're probably going to have to take care of the ones in here, purely because if you're going to put a wash over it, it's going to show. So again, it all depends on what you're doing. Another nice touchdown in here. We've got the blanket system underneath the cockpit floor, trying to give some protection, a bit of warmth. Yeah, very nice indeed. Again, so we've got those. We've also got fuel tank system. This is for the drop tank. We've got two types of versions here, the flat underside one, the scooped out one, or the rounded with the top. So we've got the part down in there like that. Very nice indeed. And of course we've got the clear parts. So down in here, like we were saying, we've got a few different versions down in here. That's why we're expecting to see some other ones coming down the line. So really very, very nice. There our way around. There we go. Crystal clear. Can't see a problem with any of those, and it does come with a mask set. So what's not to love there? That's really very, very nice. Can't see any faults with those at all. And then we've got the main canopies. And again, uber crystal clear. They have to be, you know, honestly, the clearest clear parts I think I've seen in a few years now. That's absolutely like glass. In fact, yeah, I would say that's glass if you didn't know better, because it is that clear. Fantastically done. Very, very high quality mould in it is best there. That mould has been polished to an inch of its life to get a look like that. So congratulations, because that is absolutely beautiful work. So yes. So if you want to do a quick build, do not build this kit. You're going to be here for quite a while, but let's face it, I often talk about obviously budget, medium, and obviously AAA titles. This one, I think you could obviously take it to that next level. I have never seen a 109 as detailed as that right the way through. You're not just building a model kit. We're not talking about two fuselage halves coming together here. We're talking about technically building the aircraft up from the ground up like the real thing. So this one is definitely more of an engineering side of it. Again, I'd be a bit disappointed to see this kit just buttoned up like that. I think it needs to be shown. You want to use this one perhaps as you've built other 109s, you've got a few in your collection, you're a Luftwaffe fan, things like that, and you're thinking, do you know what, it would be nice to have all that detail, and you build this one, perhaps a wing open completely, a fuselage half off, so you can show all of that detail and all the amazing engineering that goes into putting these aircraft together. And to show it off on something like this would be absolutely fantastic. The only thing I can't see, and I haven't seen in here, and I don't think I've missed it, is the figure. So I don't know what quite happened there. I think I've lost my figure because I didn't see them anywhere through that one. But I am assured they are in the other kits. But it may be a case of check your kit, because I thought mine came with the figure, but I haven't had any instructions for it or obviously anything of the actual sprue itself with him on. So I'm not actually sure where that is. Don't forget, this is one of the PM models. Ones get sent down for me. I don't know. I'll have to check and see exactly what we've got. But anyway, that is the fantastic Zoukei Bf109. If you're into this stuff, you will love it. It looks absolutely amazing. And you know full well the fit is going to be stunning. This is going to be one of those kits that's going to have to go on your bucket list if you're into the full detail.